Welcome to Styled and Successful, the podcast where high achieving women come for growth strategies, confidence boosts, and a little bit of sass. I'm your host, Tisha Burgess, a chemical engineer turned corporate director with over 23 years of experience. Along the way, I've been an entrepreneur, owning and selling multiple businesses from poker supplies to wedding outrunners. But here's the thing, I've learned that success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about how you feel when you're achieving it. At 44, I had a heart attack that changed everything. You'd never know it by looking at me, but it gave me a new perspective on life, work, and what truly matters. Now, I'm here to help you grow and thrive with some small, powerful tips for career and personal success, all delivered with a twist of style, sass, and heart. So whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, building your own empire, or just looking for a fun and inspiring way to level up, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful people. I am so excited to be here with you. The subject that I'm going to be sharing about today is one that I don't have very often in the corporate world, but it's something that I think about on a regular basis. I think about it because it really is a vital component of making sure that, from an upward mobility perspective, or making sure that you move up along the ladder, it's some planning and some strategic items that we need to make sure that we're aware of, make sure that we're doing them consistently, make sure that we're doing them well, and make sure that we have an overall plan. I'm going to be talking about having a success roadmap. And when I break it down, I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time because I really could spend hours talking on each of these five components. I'm going to spend about 15 or 20 minutes. I wanted to introduce the five core components that have guided me through my career, my path, and has led me to where I am today. And I'm a planner by nature. I will say in my younger days, I used to do more planning of personal events. But now, as I have aged and I have become a woman of a certain age, I have put my time and my efforts into being more strategic about what I plan and what I value. This is one of the things that I love because I love mentoring people, particularly women, as far as upward mobility, getting to where they want to be in their life. And I'm able to use some of my personal experiences, share some of my mistakes, some of my pitfalls, and some of the areas that have worked really well for me. These are the five areas that are vital. I mean, when I say vital, these are the five areas you must focus on to make sure that you're earning and your compensation is at the level where you deserve, where you want it to be. And if it's not yet there, this gives you a path and a roadmap so that you know what areas you need to focus on, you know what steps to put in place, and you can move from there and pivot and start navigating with specific conversations in mind that you know you're already going to have. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the number one key component, probably the number one component in life in general. It is communication. Now, if you know what you want to do and where you want to be, that's the foundation. And understanding what your goals and what your dreams are, you have to be able to articulate that and communicate that verbally and also on paper. Writing down where you want to go is, I think it's extraordinary. So you can actually see on paper where you visualize yourself going. And sometimes as you're writing it down, it gives you more time to put thought into the steps and some of the requirements, but it also allows you to really commit to or not commit to something that you thought that you wanted, but it sounded good. I always like to write down my, I guess I call it like my goals, but it's beyond goals. I like to write down my elevator pitch, my steps. This is why I have a roadmap. I love a checklist so that all falls in alignment with writing it down and the key things that are important to communicating. Now, obviously, communication is not only comprised of writing things down. It's multifaceted. So something like active listening, providing feedback or receiving feedback, having an elevator pitch, and working on public speaking, or even one thing that is something we don't do frequently enough is role playing. And having role playing sessions is very valuable because when you're in a situation when you do have to have those difficult conversations, you are already somewhat familiar with how the conversation could go. Not necessarily how it will go, but you're armed with that knowledge and some of that experience at a very elementary level. So, role playing is one. I touched on public speaking, and public speaking is not one of the things that I love to do. I will say I feel like I do a good job at it, but I still get really nervous. I have anxiety and I physically can be a little bit shaky. So if I do have to do some public speaking, I always will have something that I'm holding in my hand, be it a pen, be it a piece of paper, possibly a bottle of water, just so I can, I'm not really focused or I'm not focused so much on, the shaking. I can concentrate on delivering my message. And that's something that I know now. Obviously, I didn't know that early on, but with anything, as you get more experience, you tend to get better and work out some of those kinks that you know that you have. So, communication is one of the most valuable things that you're going to have to hone into for your pathway to success. Let's talk about one of my favorite ways to shop smart, Rakuten. If you love saving money as much as I do, you're going to love this. Rakuten makes it easy to earn cash back on everything from fashion to beauty to everyday essentials. I've been using it to save while shopping for my wardrobe upgrades, and trust me, the rewards add up fast. Ready to start saving? Head on over to TishaSBurgess.com/Rakuten. That's RAKUTEN. Again, TishaSBurgess.com/Rakuten. RAKUTEN. And start earning cash back today. Now back to the show. So that's one of five. The second thing is branding. And this is like relatively new. Branding is big now, but I will tell you, for me personally, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, nobody was calling it branding in my world. It's always been there because it's basically a component of who you are, who I am. So I know what my brand is. I know who I am from a professional sense, but nobody was calling it branding. It's almost like you are highlighting the things that you're good at. You own them and you know what you do well, you know what you're not feeling, you know your commitment level to certain things. For me, I do one meeting per month in the office that is before 10 a.m. I work in the office at the time of this recording, roughly 5 days a week for about 5 hours. I only do one meeting per month that is before 10 o'clock in the morning. And on some months, I will not even schedule those. It's just something I don't do. I am less flexible when it comes to my windows and my pockets of time. I find that as my kids are getting older, I've missed some time with them, and they're at the age now where we can hang out, we can do fun things. It was different when they were younger, and once I drop them off to daycare or once my husband takes them to daycare, they're there for a finite number of hours, and I can manage my time with those hours in mind. Now that they're older, my daughter starts high school at 9:30. My son starts, well, he will be starting high school at 9:30 as well, but right now he starts at 8:30. I want time to not feel rushed in the morning to get out of the house, have a good morning, have a decent enough send off, and I don't want to feel rushed in the morning trying to get into the office for a meeting at 7:30 or 8 o'clock on a regular basis. So I can build in some level of flexibility, but I have no intention of doing that on a regular basis. So when I speak about branding, For me, branding is knowing who I am, knowing what my parameters and what my boundaries are professionally. It also includes, from a style perspective, how I dress, why I dress the way that I do. I know what I'm comfortable in. People know what to expect of me. When I'm meeting with them, I'm always going to have a pop of color, be it a scarf, a necklace, my shoes. I love my teaks. They're very comfortable, they're very bold, and they travel well on the rare occasions that I do have to travel. I have, at the time of recording, I have locks, and these are all very intentional components of who I am and who I have become in my brand. Always very professional, very clean cut, very put together. Oddly enough, it is for me, it's a very minimal effort. I don't have to spend a lot of time curating my pieces or my wardrobe or figuring out what I'm going to wear. I will say I do spend a lot of time figuring out what I want to wear on certain days because what I wear is based on how I feel. So, on days where I might feel a little bit more bloated, I'm gonna want to wear something that, has more ruching in the front as far as a shirt. My pants are probably gonna be more than likely like high waisted and give me a little, extra hug, give me a little tuck, a little framing, and just it just helps me to feel more comfortable. Now, a couple of other components that are not related to necessarily how I feel in the morning, but they're just innate to who I am are factors like I'm always cold. So, about, I would say, 80% of the time, I'm going to be wearing a blazer and I'm going to be wearing a blouse. And the reason is because the blazer gives me the opportunity to, if I'm feeling cold, I can make sure that I'm wearing it. I'm always, and also always with the scarf. And the blazer, the scarf, the shirt, those are all components of me being comfortable so that I can be the best of who I need to be and make sure that I deliver whatever product or service my 9 to 5 requires me to provide without feeling uncomfortable. So that's something with my brand is it's always comfort, but it's always chic and it's always classy. So that's who I am. I'm professional, I'm comfortable, I'm direct, and I'm very honest in my delivery of what we're trying to accomplish in a day-to-day situation. And that's just something that's, in my 20 plus years of corporate experience that I've been able to learn about myself. And I definitely appreciate that because I will tell you, when I first started my career, I was very young. I'm an engineer. I was working in manufacturing facilities, and it's always been a very male dominated industry. I mean, the industry where I work now, it's still very much very male dominated. And when I was just starting off in my career, I was definitely more meek. And I can definitely tell how I've made some adjustments, and that's come with some of the experiences that I've had, some of the people that I've worked with, and I will also say some of the mentors that I've had the opportunity to be mentored by. And all of those factors are definitely a contributing aspect of why I am where I am today and why these are certain values that are important to me in my brand. So, communication, branding. Now, the third one, it's it's something that I teach, and it's kind of different to incorporate that when I'm talking to my my 9 to 5 workshops or my corporate branding people or my my more professional women, but it's respect. And it's something that I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of and we don't leave out because earning respect is really it's a cornerstone of a professional environment, and it's not something that is just so easily earned, and it's not something that everybody always gives, but it's something that I want to make sure that I address because I found that because people have a certain title, they believe that they can treat others with a certain amount of disrespect. And I have personally had to insert myself in certain discussions around certain boardrooms because people have a tendency to let their status get to their head. And don't get it twisted. I don't get paid enough for you to be disrespectful to me. I don't care how much I'm being compensated, but I will never tolerate that. And it also has no place in a professional work environment. And people do tend to forget that sometimes. So I like to be a sounding board, not only for others, but sometimes I have to remind myself because some of the things that I hear on phone calls or during in person meetings, it can be kind of jarring. And it's hard to believe that it happens in professional environments, but it's something that I don't tolerate. And I don't want to be somebody who perpetuates that. So I make it a priority of mine to take a stand if I know that a meeting is going left. I try to channel us back and, make sure that there is that professional respect. So from a professional aspect, it's a vital component, but also from a gender role perspective, that's very important for me because working in a male dominated environment, I've had opportunities, or I've been in, I wouldn't say opportunities, I've been involved in people making me feel less than, or making me feel as if I don't know what I'm talking about, or making me feel that just because you raise your voice at me, that makes you right. And that could not be further from the truth. And there's always an aspect of intimidation in my experience with this that has happened. And I don't appreciate when people try to make you feel smaller than you are when the reason that they have this impression that they can talk to you crazy is because they have a title. So let's not get it twisted. A title is important to the role that you do, but having respect for me and who you're speaking to is equally as important. I feel like one of the reasons that for me that this has happened in the past is because I do look very young. Okay. I have 20 plus 23 going on 24 years of experience in my field, and I look like I'm fresh out of school. Okay. Not fresh. Okay. But I look like I could be like in my late 20s probably, but I don't let people be rude and disrespectful just because they think that I'm younger, because I don't think that my age has anything to do with how I am addressed and how I am spoken to in the office. And that's one of the areas that, as I'm talking with you, I realize that it's really been an issue for me. And it's something that I don't want anybody that I mentor, anybody that I work with, anybody that I come in contact with professionally to have to experience that. And if they do, I want you to know that you're not alone, and you need to make sure that you do your best to address it and address it immediately. A quick break to talk about one of my absolute must haves, Lashify. If you're like me and want to save time without sacrificing style, then this is for you. Lashify's DIY lash extensions give you that flawless salon quality look right at home. And let me tell you, as someone with a packed schedule, having lashes that make me feel confident without the extra trip to the salon is a total game changer. Plus, they're lightweight, reusable, and perfect for any occasion. Whether it's a day at the office or a night out, Lashify helps you stay polished and put together. Want to give it a try? Head on over to TishaSBurgess.com/Lashify to check them out. Again, that's TishaSBurgess.com/Lashify for your new go-to beauty hack. Now back to the show. Communication, branding, respect, all of those funnel into being confident. Being confident is one of the most important pieces of making sure that you grow and develop professionally. And whatever endeavor you're working on, if it's in the entrepreneurial area or if it's corporate, if it's as a freelancer, having confidence in what you do in your knowledge, in your delivery, in your demeanor, in your day-to-day life will take you so far. I like to add that it's not only having confidence, but it's confidence. And when you don't have confidence in yourself or your delivery or what it is that you're working toward, it's having the courage to proceed in the absence of confidence. I want you to make sure that you realize we're not always confident. I'm not always confident in everything I do. I'm confident in most of the things that I do. And that has a lot to do with the level of knowledge that I have or the experience that I have been able to accomplish or another factor. But when we're starting something new, there is a lack of confidence that we all may experience, and that is completely normal. However, in the absence of that confidence, you need to make sure that you have the courage to keep on going and keep persevering and remember why you wanted to do this in the first place. And even if it's something that you don't want to do, it could be something as easy as delivering an address, public speaking, doing a brief of some sort that you could be very knowledgeable in the area, but you might not be the best at public speaking, or you might not be confident in public speaking. In the absence of having confidence, make sure that you have the courage to go ahead and do and take care of your business and do what you need to do, and know that you're going to come out on the other side of that experience as a better person, as a better professional, and a more well rounded individual in that particular area. So I know that I speak a lot about being confident, and that comes from a place of, like I said earlier, being experienced and knowing your stuff. When you don't know everything that you feel that you should know, still have the courage to continue and push forward and do what you need to do to get your work done and get your business done. And don't let anybody mess with your money. I just want to add that. Don't let nobody mess with your money because we're not doing that. Um, so we're going to round out this success roadmap. So we've got communication, branding, respect, confidence, and in the absence of confidence, courage to proceed with what you need to do. And the final component is strategy. Strategy is very important because without having some strategic edge or some strategic guidance, where are you going? Like, what are we doing? What is it that we feel we're going to accomplish if we don't have a plan? Like, who's doing that? Even if we are starting in a place where, okay, I guess I can use, like, if you are planning on going to college, you might not know what you want to have a degree in initially when you're starting your college journey and selecting a university. But strategically speaking, I feel like you would know I'm good in business. That's a passion. I love fashion. I love finance. I don't know why I love finance, or I want to be an engineer. I don't know what I want my focus to be, or I want to be in the medical field. But you need to have some level of a strategic focus so that you know what steps you need to include so you can accomplish your end goal. And accomplishing your end goal, with that in mind, understand that your goals change, your dreams change, our visions change, and change is a part of life, and that's okay because we're always evolving and we're becoming different people. I'm not the same that I used to be 5 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was 12 months ago. So change and evolving is something that is welcomed, and it's something that will happen naturally. But always having a plan or some level of a guide is a vital component into making sure that you're growing and that you're progressing and that you're not becoming stagnant. And what I'm going to do actually is you can pick up this roadmap. I call it my six-figure success roadmap. It's a free download, a 2-page PDF, and it has the 5 areas broken down. And then each of the 5 areas, I got the summary as well as some activities to support what it is that you want to do in those specific areas. You can download it from TishaSburgess.com/roadmap. Don't forget the S. So it's TishaSBurgess.com/roadmap. And you can download it for free. And I would recommend that you just take a look at it and figure out the areas that you could use a little bit of extra support in, and use these 4 or 5 activities per area, and really see how it is that you can use them to benefit where it is that you are and where it is that you want to go. And I just want to close out with thanking you for taking this time of letting me share, because every time I do these podcast episodes, I always realize there's something that there's like a component that I never knew that I I don't want to call it like a hot button, but there's like a piece that I'm like, oh, I never realized what the impact of this was. Like when we started talking about that respect aspect, like, that really was a good reflection point for me personally, because I have experienced a lot of situations where, because of my seemingly young age or my gender or my race, that I have felt like the respect that I was giving based on my experience, my knowledge, my relationships, and my work structure, and even my title, I feel like there has been definite areas where there has been no respect. And that's something that I didn't realize that I needed to dig a little bit deeper. Huh. So thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you again for listening to this episode with me. This is always such a fun time of my week where I get to share. I get to be very open and upfront, and I feel like you're not judging me. That's one of the things that I really can appreciate. I feel like you're not judging me, or maybe you are. Maybe you are judging me, and I'm just that naive. But this is a day that I always look forward to when I'm recording these podcasts. And I always know that even if I don't want to get started, or I get started late, or I'm feeling some kind of way and I'm in some kind of mood or something's going on, I always know that at the end of this podcast, I'm going to be so thrilled to have spent this time with you. Thank you so much. And I can't wait until we talk again, and we'll chat soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to Styled and Successful. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some inspiration to elevate your confidence, style, and success. If you're looking for more details or resources from today's show, head over to my blog at TishaSBurgess.com. You'll find all the links, notes, and extras there. And let's stay connected. Follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn at Tisha S. Burgess for daily tips, behind-the-scene moments, and all things style and success. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who could use a little extra inspiration in their life. Thanks again for spending time with me. And remember, you're styled, you're successful, and you're absolutely unstoppable. See you next time.